All right, good evening, folks. This is continuing coverage of the storms that are rolling across. Again, backwards this afternoon. They're doing that east to west thing as opposed to west to east. So again, if you're used to looking out one window of the house saying, all right, the storms are coming from this way and they're going that way. All right, now it's going the other way. So as we go on through the next couple hours, or at least the next hour, hour and a half maybe, the potential is there for this. So here's the big picture, and the skinny on this is that the severe thunderstorm warning continues for Jones County until 6:45, and then Peach into Crawford until, I believe that one was until 7. Make sure I got that right there. Blah, 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 yes, 7. Okay, now let's dig in on these storms. I mean, a ton of lightning with these. Let's start at the top. Jones County with this one right here, mainly north of Gray. So if you're in town looking toward your north, I'm sure a very dark sky there. As we look at the hail core, you can kind of get an idea. As you look in here, look up on the scale, you're talking about over a ½ inch in diameter. So this has had a history. Watch as I back this up through time. And notice right there, as we were in northern Jones County earlier, you're looking at maybe close to 1.5 inches in diameter hailstones coming out of that. That has come down a pretty good bit since then, but it is still kicking it as it comes across, again, mainly north of Gray. The core of this bad part of the storm is north of Gray, heading into Round Oak. All right, so let's move the map down, and this one is exploding. This is from Peach County into Crawford. Look on the scale, you're talking about getting near 1 inch in diameter hailstones there. So all around Fort Valley, heading into southern Crawford County, and again, this is moving backwards from what we would normally see. So instead of going on the screen left to right, it goes right to left. Let me show you as I back this up. You can see a couple of times in there where you see a little bit of green in that hail core, getting close to 1 inch plus in diameter. But for the most part, it is at least a steady 3/4 inch hailstone situation with that. Again, we're not looking at tornado stuff today. This is not one of those kind of days. It's summertime stuff. Straight line winds, which can still knock a few limbs down, maybe some power lines in a few spots. But as long as you stay inside away from windows, you'll be fine. But there are a lot of lightning strikes with these storms. So if it's movement on this one is a little bit, this is Jones County right here. This one's a little bit toward the west-southwest. So again, if you're in Gray, part of you may be saying, I sure would like to see that rain come down. I could use it. Unfortunately, most of it is staying to your north, but as it sags southward, it may spread out a little bit and nip Gray, but the rest of it is all north of you. And you can see the lightning strike. So if you're in the Round Oak area, that's where you're going to get the hail and strong winds with that. Let's see, let's zoom back out. Washington County, parts of Hancock with a couple of little thunderstorm cells there, no big deal. This, as we get into Lawrence County, has been one we followed earlier. It was severe when it was in Trutland into Lawrence and then kind of fell apart. It's splintered into pretty much 2 pieces now. There's the Dexter part of the storm, and then there is Cadwell to Eastman right here. Let's look at the hail size. This kind of gives you an idea of the strength of it, and you can see the hailstones are almost gone in that storm. So that is one that's falling apart. Obviously, the 2 biggest ones on the map are this one in Jones County. If you look by hail, going Peach into Crawford. Again, everything's going backwards today, so it is going toward the west. And again, so because I'm sure I'll look at comments in a minute, sometimes we'll get questions about that. This is not even though we're technically in the final week of spring, I know it's hard to believe even as hot as it is, we're not looking at tornadic weather. This is not tornado stuff. This is, but still going to be some straight line winds, kind of gusty out there, and of course the hail. And those can make for great pictures, but wait until the storm is gone before you step outside to try to do that. There's just too much lightning with these cells. All right, so there's the big picture again. Jones County goes until 6:45. It's about another 5 minutes. And then for about another 20 minutes on that, going from Peach into Crawford. Now, if these cells remain the way they're going, I expect to see probably an extension of this one as you go farther along, and then this one kind of going in this direction here as you go farther along. And we are seeing a few, looks like we're seeing a few lightning strikes in Bibb County now in between these two. Let's see if this ends up becoming anything. You got outflows from these storms kind of colliding in this area. So this may blow up a little bit. We'll see if there's enough energy still there, but this could end up being a spot right here, which is not a bad thing. See some rain that we could really use, especially on a hot day like this. And I mean, you don't want the gusty winds and the hail, but boy, on a hot day like this with needing rain, we'll take it however way we can get it. Dodge County now, it looks like most of that stuff has already made its way out of Lawrence County, and it is more into Dodge. One part of it kind of heading toward Eastman, may kind of stay a little bit north of town And then this as you go northern Dodge, eventually heading on into Bleckley. Southern extent of this storm for the Perry area is not severe, but you are getting some rain and pretty good little light show with this right here. Matter of fact, let me see, which camera do I have up right now? There's the Macon sky cam looking toward Jones. Let's see if we pull up. All right, let's go try to pull up the Perry sky cam where we do have some rain going on. And again, it's kind of odd because you normally, we'll spin around toward the west here, normally see it kind of coming from the interstate. This is heading toward the interstate, and we're right up underneath it right here. You can kind of see the rain on the left side there with the sun on the right. So this is heading about to cross over 75. Let's see, there's more of it right there as you look off. It's good to have kind of a contrast there where you can see the difference. See the rain bands coming down. So again, this part of the storm is not severe, but some really good rain, so that's not bad. Back to the radar we go, and let's see how, well, first of all, let's see how it's treating the numbers. It has kind of thrown a dent in some of the plan here. Still 99 in the Macon area, still 102 in Dublin, and the feels like numbers are still pretty crazy, but I saw some today, 115, 116 for the heat index. That's crazy. We haven't seen that kind of heat in a long time. First excessive heat situation we've had in 10 years today. Excessive heat warning there. So, and I think we may see some more of that as we go through the next week and a half. And I'm not trying to leave you out of the conversation here, Dodge County, but there's nothing severe with this. So I'm going to kind of skip over to the ones that are severe and leave those on the screen while I look at some of the comments. See if I can find those. Hail in Plainfield, all right. That was a while back. Okay, let's see. It's just making the weather hotter. Yep, Pam, it'll cool you off for a little bit. Unfortunately, though, there's still another couple hours of sun up, but I think there'll be enough rain-cooled air and clouds like we saw yesterday afternoon, if a lot of this will gel together, that will start to keep the numbers down where they don't go back up for the rest of today. Let me take a look at some of this. Let's see. Just to show you again, we're not looking at anything rotating, but we are seeing some gusty winds with this as it comes out. Because we had a comment, where was that comment? It said, looks like a tornado in Fort Valley coming from Reynolds. Natavia said, yeah, it's not a tornado. It's just sometimes those scud clouds can look a little ominous when they come across. But you are going to get some gusty winds out of that, that's for sure. But there's no tornado or tornado warning. Somebody said, too bad this wind couldn't blow down these gas prices. Yep. It might take that. Let's see, in comments from Fort Valley with the wind, rain, and hail coming down there. Yeah, probably making a little bit of racket there in Fort Valley. Let's show a check of hail and see if we're seeing any weakening. Nope, actually it's blown up bigger there, so I can see what you're talking about in Fort Valley. Notice now, let's ask it a question here. What kind of hailstone size are you? It's almost, say, over 1.25 inch size hailstone. So you're getting on up there. At this point, you're kind of getting close to golf ball size hail with some of this. So the hailstones could be, again, to make some pretty neat pictures after it's over, but you don't want to get out there right now until it's over. And again, the wind's probably going to, all that jazz. I mean, a big thunderstorm with a lot of lightning and everything. Again, just centermost room of the house, just like you would with a tornado warning, except for this is not a tornado warning. And there is a new beep. Let's see if we have a new warning. Looks like this thing, by the way, has been beeping for no reason, off and on in severe weather events, and sometimes that'll pick up warnings in other part of the state. So if you hear that, we're still trying to nail that down and figure out why it's doing that. So I think it looks like Jones County has been expired. Let me check on the hail on that storm. All right, there's still pretty decent hail core in there. Right up here, but no severe thunderstorm warning. This is still severe, and you're seeing even on the Macon County line and a little bit outside around Perry here, southern Houston County, a little bit of hail there. Let me roll over Dodge County, just a couple little maybe pea-sized hailstones north of Eastman. So again, not leaving you out by not talking about Dodge and Lawrence, but right now it's not severe. Okay, there we go. I figured they would have to do that again. So what they did is they just reissued a severe thunderstorm warning for Jones County going into Monroe now. There's just still too much going on with that storm to really let it lie. So that is going to, again, staying north of Gray. I mean, this thing is kind of shimmying right over town, where if those of you who are wanting rain out of this, it's kind of missing you and going right over. Heading eventually, you know, if it continues, let's see, on this line, this would go over Lake Juliet and then maybe between Forsyth and Bolingbrook like this. All right, let's check on in down here. The polygon for this one kind of goes toward the northwest, but it looks like it's really going more due west. Let me take the lightning off, we can get a better look. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of this going on, but it's kind of like this too. So, especially we're seeing the hail in this area as well. So it's not quite lining up with the polygon. Looks like it's staying a little more south. We'll keep an eye on this part in Taylor County too, as it's trying to kind of blow up a little bit. But yeah, Fort Valley, looks like most of the heavy rain is leaving town on the west side, taking with it the hail and a lot of there's still probably some good rumbles of thunder going on. But most of the wind should have already moved through there as well. Let me back this up, and you can see as we go, this takes us to a little after 6 o'clock here. Notice as we go forward now, heading in toward Fort Valley, hail coming down. And then right there at about 7 minutes ago, 6:40, somewhere in there, when we spiked up to over 1 inch in diameter hail, and still sitting at close to 1 inch in diameter. So these are big hail producers, strong updrafts on these storms. So these, you know, these hailstones are getting thrown way up in the atmosphere, and there's enough updraft that as, you know, the raindrops go up above the freezing level, or I should say up enough to where you're below freezing, turn into ice, come back down, get a coat of water on it from the rain, get caught in that updraft again and thrown back up again. And so that's the reason why you cut them open, you can see rings. You can tell how many times this thing continues to go up and down, and the stronger the updraft, the more it can keep carrying the weight of these stones back up higher. So it really gives you an indication of how strong that storm is when you start to see those larger hailstones. Eventually they can't hold it and they fall to the ground, but let's see, big picture. Again, this warning probably goes until, I'm guessing, 7:15. Let's see, no, till 7:30 for that one. Yeah, they're not moving all that quickly. All right, that's a new ding for, that's Harris and Muskogee County. That's not us. Other storms, as we look back into Baldwin County coming out of Hancock, not severe, just normal stuff here. Let's go on down. You can see this. Let's see, Dodge County, again, we've been keeping an eye on this. Still looks pretty stout north of Eastman, putting down some small hail. Let's see if that's increased any. No, it hasn't. So still the biggest game in town is, well, actually the one in Jones County. Looks like it's splintering apart some, which is good. Seeing this in pieces more. Sometimes it'll kind of get itself back together, but this right through here, Peach into Crawford, still with some hailstones there. There is that Perry sky cam. See, that's kind of cool looking. You can see the rain leaving, going over the interstate. See if I can follow it and track it on around. Yeah, you can see some rain shafts out there in the distance. Kind of neat looking. That's some heavy rain coming down on the part on the left there. Good rain too, really could use it. Okay, there is the big picture again. Again, that warning for Jones County going into Monroe. These two are going to eventually, they're probably far enough away, they're not going to bump into each other here, but This one's kind of going like this. This one, the polygon is aiming this way toward the west-northwest, but it's not moving much at all, really. Slowly trying to go toward the west here. I think this one's probably moving a little bit faster. And you can see this was the strong part. Notice how it's starting to blow up here. You see where your lightning is? That's where it's starting to intensify. This may start to weaken a little bit here, whereas this is trying to get going. See if it lines up with the hail. Still kind of splintered. Sometimes it takes a while to get some of the hail data in. Again, if you're in Dodge County, Bleckley, I'm not showing necessarily all. You're seeing it a little bit at the bottom right. It's just because it's not severe. So I want the folks who are under the warning to be able to keep an eye on their area. Bertha says, Ben, I'm from Twiggs County, but I live in Hawaii. Congrats, Bertha. What is the weather like there in Twiggs? Well, it's quiet and hot for right now. Would you like to swap positions, Bertha? We could make that happen. Hawaii sounds pretty nice. What about Telfair and Wheeler, says Elizabeth. Well, Telfair and Wheeler are quiet for now. There's a storm riding over you to the north, and there's only just a few sprinkles heading in your direction. So again, not a huge severe weather outbreak kind of day, but all it takes is a couple to kind of get your attention, and so those are the two that we're following. Let's see, we just had a horrible wind gust at Fairmont Drive off of Forsyth Road, took our umbrella straight out of the table and flung it in the air. Yeah, Jonathan, that's probably an outflow boundary from one of these storms. I bet I could find which one it is. It could be either one, really. So if you're on Fairmont, it's that one to your north, actually. So it's this storm. You see the wind coming out from Jones County, that green line right there. That's the wind from that. So if you're in Macon right now, you're probably, the wind's kind of pushing through, kind of throwing the trees around a little bit. That's just the outflow from that storm to your north. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to rain. It's just that storm is throwing down some wind. Now, we'll have to watch and see because you've got an outflow right here. Watch this one coming out right there, and there's a space in between. So sometimes you'll see these collide, and just like watching two waves in a pool, if they're coming at each other, once they hit each other, it'll kind of throw water up in the air. So it's the same kind of thing. It's going to force the atmosphere in the vertical here. So right in here, we may see, some rain develop, which would be great. There's a lot of folks probably wanting to see some rain. So at least you got the gusty wind to kind of knock the temperature down a little bit. Lots of wind and rain in Eastman. Yep, that is not severe though. It's raining in Warner Robins on Watson. Congratulations, that's good stuff, Antonio. Bertha says, no, Ben, I miss you guys in Georgia, but I love it here in Hawaii. All right, doesn't hurt to ask. See, there's one of your bigger hail cores way out here toward Griffin. All right, let's see what that is. All right, so new severe thunderstorm warning, and this is what I was just talking about. So the motion of this storm was no longer really going toward the west-northwest. It's starting to kind of dive southwest. So this polygon here, forget that one for the most part, unless they're going to kick that one out. I would assume they're going to kick that one out. Your motion's kind of going a little bit toward the west, maybe even west-southwest. So the general idea is, look at both of them, I don't care, but we're talking about Crawford, Macon County, Taylor County, leaving Peach County. So in this whole area, so if you're in Reynolds, Marshallville, you at least have the rain. Let's see, again, you kind of line it up with your hail core, where the heaviest stuff is, and so pick out where you are in relation to where those brighter colors are. So again, you're seeing up to an inch in diameter with this. So this is going to be on 49, leaving Fort Valley, heading to Marshallville. It's probably already past that. Yeah, so Reynolds, you probably want to just be ready for this one next. Again, not looking at a tornado warning and not expecting that today, but looking at some gusty winds and maybe some hail. The one up here in Jones County has let's see, it's kind of splintered apart. Now let's see what's happening here. Hail core going forward now, splintered apart, but now a new one right here outside of Gray. Let me see what this is doing. This could be good news for those in Gray wanting rain. Or maybe it's just a tease because it looks like it's blowing up west of town and then continuing this way. Ouch. So if you're in Gray, the old dist and mist, maybe you can still get some rain out of that that's in Milledgeville if that'll hold together. All right, what was that new ding? Let's see what that was. Yep, Crawford, Peach, Taylor, that original one that I was telling you, that polygon right here, that one's expired. This one is the one that's taken over now. Notice, watch the movement, how it was kind of going up in this fashion, and then it's starting to kind of go this way. So this one's being replaced. So if you're in Crawford and Roberta, this may stay south of you now. You may hear some rumbles and maybe have a little bit of rain and some wind off of it, but it may stay underneath you, at least for now. Dodge into Bleckley, north of Eastman, not severe. Let's see, is there any hail in there? Almost none. Some pea-sized hail already west of town in Eastman. This new one right here, though, that's blowing up outside Gray, let's keep an eye on this one. It may just stay a little blip of hail and do not much of anything and collapse on the next scan, but it may be the beginning of, you know, something that may blow up for North Bibb into Monroe here. And let's see, we will check in on those two outflows coming together. So far, nothing developing in Macon with those two hitting each other. Doesn't always happen. All right, let's see what comments we have. Looks like Byron is missed. Yeah. Sometimes you watch this stuff and you're like, oh, I don't want severe weather, but you're like, hey, wait a minute. You just went by and I didn't get a drop of rain. Toby says Fort Valley got hit hard. Yeah, I think so with the hail and the lightning and everything. So again, once it's safe, you can send pictures. If you're in our 13 WMAZ Weather Network Facebook group, you can put them there. There is on the app, there's the Near Me feature there, or you can upload stuff there as well. Facebook's always a good place to throw them, especially on our page right there, because we can get to them pretty quickly and throw them on TV. Strong wind and rain in Reynolds, Brett says. Yeah, that's the beginning edge of that one coming in. I see Macon on there a few times. I'm assuming you're asking about what's up with Macon. Right now it's quiet. We'll see if any rain will develop. Wouldn't hurt my feelings if we could get some rain. Love to see it. Again, the severe part, that's not so cool, but again, on a day like today, it'd take the wind and some hail to get the rain to cool it down, and you know, all the plants and grass out there are just hating it with this kind of heat. So any way we can get it. Darlene says, wind sure thinned out the dead leaves out of the trees here in Bon Air. Yeah, nature's cleanup crew. Feels great outside in Wrightsville, no more heat. Let's see, wind is blowing pretty strong in Reynolds. Yeah, I saw that one. All right, let's do a hailstone check, and let me go backwards and forwards. That one that's right outside of Gray actually does not look as impressive as it did on the last scan, so that may not be anything really taking off. The one to the north that was the main part when it was severe here is moving into northern Monroe, kind of north of Lake Juliet. Some hail stuff in there. It's smaller than what it was. Still somewhat impressive, the hail from Peach into Macon County and then to Taylor County, but this is probably, let's see, is that, yeah, that one's kind of blowing up a little bit, just outside Perry. All right, what is this? That is, again, this system has been beeping just whenever it wants, so I have to check and see if it's anything for our area, but that was not. Okay. Trying to see if I see any new information for you. So far, it doesn't look like that rain's going to develop in Macon between those two outflow boundaries right there. You can definitely see that northern one. You see the green line right there. There's the wind coming down. Probably doing a number on the numbers. Let's see. Yeah, I see some 80s out there now. That's good. Macon was just at 99, down to 92. Cochran at 84 now. 79 in Eastman. Congrats. Heat index also getting punched in the gut. That's good, except for the McCrations looking going. Yeah, it still feels like 113 here. 111 in Butler. But the rain trying to do its part to knock some holes in this. Start to get that map looking like Swiss cheese. It'll throw these numbers down. Again, everything kind of moving backwards right now. It's going right side of your screen to left, east to west. So whereas we usually see our exit ramp for Johnson, Trutland counties, places like that, it's going the other way. Last stop on this will be leaving Monroe, Crawford, Taylor, Macon counties. And it's all heading in that direction. Hailstones are still there. They don't look as impressive as they once did. So it looks like some of these are weakening at times. The one in northern Monroe still shows up a little bit here. A lot of lightning, though. As you go into Macon County, you can see that. Just tons of lightning strikes. Again, just stay away from the window, chill out, wait for it to come on through. You may literally chill out as the numbers are dropping quickly underneath these storms. The temperatures are taking a nosedive. Before you throw a log on the fire, though, it's not going that cool. Okay, it looks like that is the newest information that I have for now. These go until 7:30 and 7:45 for the Peach, Crawford, Macon, and Taylor County storm. So there's not a lot of information I'll have that's new over the next 45 minutes. So what we're going to do is, what you see is what's happening. It is heading toward the west. It'll just kind of be more of this. We're not expecting anything really worse than this. And if you're in our eastern counties, most everything looks like it's quieting down for now. There could be some other stuff. But again, if you're in Taylor, Macon counties, parts of Monroe, again, some of this kind of heading your way. We'll see how it holds together. But you could have some gusty winds, some frequent lightning, some heavy rainfall at times, and maybe some hail in there a little bit. But that'll do it for this one. And if I need to pop back on in a little bit, I will. Just know that I'll be sitting here watching it like a hawk. Thanks.